While I was looking forward to do all of this in the future when I have money, God has been preparing all this time. The Unfinished Pursuit. 5 years. Wow. It's been 5 years since I prayed about my vision to minister the youth, the children, old, and pastors. For 5 years, I write down in my yearly journal about this pursuit. When I get money, I will help the children, old, and pastors. High school, college, then I graduated. Even when I started working, I still prayed to the Lord. Lord, I will help children, old, and pastors. There was even a time I got frustrated. Lord, I'm now working, but where's the money to begin the pursuit? I prayed about this for 5 years, so I will be ready when the time comes, or when the money comes. Sadly, the more I think of it as a future goal, the more it becomes farther and farther and harder to reach. But I keep all of this vision in mind, and I keep this prayer to the Lord. Before anything, do you notice how everything in online is interconnected? One moment, I searched about hair color in Shopee. Then, hair color brands start popping out in my Instagram, YouTube suggestion, Facebook, and Google. Amazing, isn't it? This experience feels like they know how my mind works. How much more our all-knowing God. August 17, 2018, I started my journey as a volunteer teacher for the refugees in Indonesia. Vast majority of refugees in Indonesia are waiting for resettlement. Hence, they have fewer rights to work and limited access to education. As God works through the heart of Paul family, I got involved in educating refugee kids about English. It started with an intention of self-growth. It flourished and became passion and love for the kids. I took for granted my ability to speak English, but I saw through them how language can give hope for those who want a better home. I took a pause from teaching, then pandemic came. I returned teaching in Refugee, but it is online. I also actively involve myself. I got to meet people who have passion for refugees in teaching science, art, and livelihood. One time, I had a meeting about a certain online game app. Again, Google has its way to remember my activities. Few weeks after that, I stumbled on an account who is actually a co-maker of that game app. Amused with the discovery, I got hooked in evaluating either this game will be beneficial for the refugee kids or not. On that same month, I talked to Uncle and offered sharing online the financial needs we have for the refugee families. It was put on hold since we are prayerfully waiting of God's own way of provision. And you know what? Praise God! I waited and I didn't indulge in publicizing our needs. Still, I was able to help by sharing a testimony, hoping that our refugee ministry will be considered for a grant. I don't have the answer yet for that grant request. Nevertheless, all of these previous experiences drew me back from my vision I had since 5 years ago. Through constant prayer and keeping my pursuit for kids in mind, I see how my whole experience for the past 5 years had its own connection to this goal. while I was looking forward to do all of this in the future when I have money, God had been preparing all this time, and He shows it on my every present day. Recently, I get to reflect and see how my work with the refugee kids is a part of God fulfilling my desire. A desire that started years ago, now formed and molded by God. The Lord turned my vision into a better version when I delight myself in Him. I believe He will continue to mold it according to His purpose. And I also believe that this is still an unfinished pursuit, and that's what makes me excited to see how God will continue to work on those visions, not just with the kids, but also with pastors and the old people. So then, I'll continue to the next page of this story and discover more. Padayon!